Yeah, we can
clearly
hear
and
you.
loudly? Okay. So first of all, any doubt in the previous class? You can ask any doubt from the previous class.
No, I'm fine.
Okay. So I'm going ahead, and today we will learn Vim editor, nano editor, and disk dumping, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As I, so we will learn how to actually edit a file using Vim editor or a nano editor, and how to create a fake file using DD, means disk dumping. So even you can destroy, even you can delete a file without even if opening the file. You can also change the content of this file without opening the file. And we will also learn how to delete the content of a file without changing the size, actual size of the file. Okay, it means if there is a 2
Okay.
GB file, we can delete the whole content of that file, but still the size will be 2 GB. Okay,
Okay.
and in this way we will learn how to bypass disk monitoring tool. So let's see. So this is our Linux machine. Let's log in, and you can see after login, I'm going inside data folder. So cd data. Okay, and by default here is a file a.txt. Okay, so you can see this file a.txt. I am going to delete this file rm-rf a.txt. And now I am going to create a new file using Vim editor. Okay, so let's create like Vim usa.txt and press enter. Now, if you want to write anything inside this file, you have to go to insert mode. And for insert mode, you have to type sorry, okay? So you have to press I here. So when I press I, you can see insert mode. Okay, so insert mode has been started. It means now you are ready, or we can write anything inside this file. We can insert anything inside this file. Let's see. And now when you finish your writing, you have to come out from the insert mode. So how to come out from insert mode? Here we have to use escape key. Okay, so there is a escape key on your keyboard. Just press that key and you can see insert mode is disappear. It means now we are not in insert mode. It also means we can't write anything inside this file right now. Okay, because we are not in insert mode. Now if you want to save it, then go to press shift colon, and you can see downside. Just see the bottom of the line,
I can't
and
see.
here you to type you can't see.
No,
Can
So,
can you see now?
yes.
okay.
Okay, so, so this is the W. W stands for save the file, and then we type Q. So after colon we type W and then Q. W for saving the file and Q for quit. Okay, it means save and quit and just press enter and the file has been saved. Let's see, clear the screen. ls and you can see cat usa.txt and you can see the content has been saved. It means we have successfully created file using Vim editor. Now, Vim editor is not only used to create a file, you can also edit a file using Vim editor. It means if a file has been already created using different method, still you can edit that file using Vim editor. Suppose you want to edit this file again. So just type vim usa.txt and the file has been opened. And now press I for insert mode. Okay? And you can change here. You can see.
No, so that means to go to that file is the vim space usa.txt.
Yes. Yeah, Vim space the file name.
Okay.
Okay, whatever the file name, it doesn't matter. It's just depend on you, which file you are going to edit or which file you are going to create. It could be a PHP file, it could be a Python file, it could be a C programming file. Okay, it could be a Python, Perl, any Ruby language, Ruby programming file. Okay, it could be a PHP file. It doesn't matter. You can write your programming language inside this coding. Okay. So Vim editor is also used by programmers to develop their programs. It means they write their code, Python code, Java code, C code, C++, Perl, Ruby programming, PHP code inside this editor. Okay.
Okay.
And now just save. Again escape key, then colon WQ, and that's all. File has been saved. File has been saved. It means you don't have to do anything more. Same process for editing the file. Now you will tell that is that enough? Is that over? Vim editor is over? No. You can also copy paste. You can see. Suppose I want to copy this two line. Okay, so just I come here and don't go to insert mode. Okay. Suppose you just want to copy paste. So just type 2yy. Okay. 2yy means two line copied and then P. And you can see the line has been pasted. If you want to paste it again, just come downside and P. If you want to paste it again at the top, just go here and type P. Okay. If you want to go here and type again, just type P. If you want to type it above the line, you have to type capital P. Okay. So 2yy is for copy and P is for paste. Okay. So what does this 2yy means? So let's explain. I'm going to save it. Okay. And show you through the paint. So in Vim editor, there are three commands mainly. The first one is if you want to insert, the first one is insert mode. So if you want to write anything, you have to go to insert mode. And for that, you have to press the key I. Okay. Now, suppose you want to come out from insert mode. How to come out? So you have to type just escape key, okay, on your keyboard. And if you want to save, then you have to type shift plus colon, okay, and then WQ. So W here for save and Q here for quit, okay. So what does this mean? It means if you type this one WQ, it means save and quit. If you type like only this one, only Q, it means quit without saving. So if you don't want to save the file, you just quit like this. So if you want to quit forcefully, you can use Q and then exclamation marks. If you want to save and quit forcefully, then you have to type WQ and then exclamation mark. Okay. Now, I have used the term copy paste. So suppose you want to copy two lines, just go to that line and type 2YY. So this command will copy two line, okay? Copy two lines. And if you want to paste it somewhere, suppose you want to paste it just below the lines, you just go to that lines and type P. So P here is for paste. Okay. So you can use a small p and you can also use capital P. So capital P is used for different purpose. It means capital P, if you are using capital P, then the purpose will be different. What is the purpose of capital P? The purpose of capital P is paste above the line. Okay. So this is not the small p, actually this is the capital P. Okay. So capital P is paste above the lines. This small p is paste below the lines. Okay, guys? Clear now?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So this is the Vim editor. Not only this, Vim editor is not only used for creating a file, but you can also password protect a file using Vim editor. Now you can see that this file is very simple file. Cat usa.txt. It means anyone can see this content of the file. Someone is making loud. And you can also see that anyone can edit this file using Vim editor. Okay. So anyone can edit this file. Anyone can see the content of this file. It means this file is not secure. So Vim editor is also helpful. Using Vim editor, you can also encrypt the content of a file, or you can see you can also fully encrypt a file. Means you can give password protection to a file using Vim editor. So that's why Vim editor is so powerful. Let's see. So Vim -x and the name of the file. Okay. So we use this command, a small -x. Okay, remember a small -x. So we use this command to password protect any file. So -x here is used to assign password to usa.txt file here. Okay. Now press enter. You can see it's asking for enter encryption key. Can you see enter encryption key option?
I can't see
Yes.
anything though.
You can see now?
Yes.
Okay. Might be your screen resolution problem. Let me fix it for you. Okay, you can see now?
Yes.
Okay. So it's asking for enter encryption key. It means it's asking you to type anything password, any password. Suppose I am giving the password Red Hat. Okay, press enter. It's asking again. So you have to type the same password again. So Red Hat for confirmation. And now just press escape key and shift:W key. Similar, just save the file. Okay, the same command you use to save the file. Colon and then W key. W key is used for save and quit. That's all. Now this file has been password protected. It means no one can see this content of this file. Let's see. Cross check.
Satish.
Yeah.
If you are creating a file, can you set the password, at the same time before creating the file? Or
yeah. Right. No, you can create the password at the same time and also after creating the file. Both.
Okay.
Okay, I will show you that also. Okay. Now let's see. When I type, someone type cat usa.txt, it will show something encrypted. You can see now encrypted content. You can see the content is completely encrypted, right? It means
Yes.
you are not able to see this content. And if someone want to see this content using Vim editor, suppose they tried the different method, they try Vim editor and they type this one, it will say no, first type the password. It will ask
Oh,
you the password, and you will be able to open this file only and only when you know the right password. Okay, so only the person who know the correct password will be able to open this file. So the password is correct password is red hat. So just type the red hat and you can see the file has been opened. Okay,
okay.
now someone has asked me that uh, is it possible to create a file, password protected file before creating any file? Yes. See, I am going to create a file a.txt. Okay. So vim -x a.txt. So I have not yet created the file, but before creation, it will ask you for the password. Suppose I give the password 12345. 12345. Okay, and then press enter, and now you can type anything. Go to insert mode and type hi. Okay, and I just type it and then WQ. Save this file. That's all. This file has been encrypted. Okay, if you want to cross check, then cross check cat a.txt, and you can see.
Mm,
Can you see?
yes.
The file has been encrypted. But if you are a cyber security guy, you can guess that this file has been encrypted using which method. So you can see that encrypted account, you can see vimcrypt.
Yeah.
When I type cat a.txt, you can see vimcrypt. So always remember, this is a symmetric cryptography. Symmetric cryptography means you can you can open this file or you can decrypt this file using the same algorithm and same password which has been used for encrypting the file. Okay, it means you have to use the same algorithm, because suppose we have encrypted this file using Vim method, so you have to open or you have to decrypt this file only using Vim method, and you have to use the same password which we have used during encryption. So vim a.txt, so it will ask the password and 12345, right? You can see the file has been opened. Okay, and now suppose you want to remove this password, you can remove this password. Let's see how to remove this password. Go to here, shift colon, and then type set key is equal to, and make it blank. Okay, just type set s here, set key and is equal to blank. Don't type anything. Set key is equal to, and just press enter and then press escape key and then shift column and then W key. Save it again. Okay. And now this file has been completely removed. This file has we have completely removed the encryption from this file. It means this file is no more encrypted. You can see cat a.txt and you can directly see the content. You don't need any password. Okay. If you want to password protect again this file, there is another method also to password protect a file, and this method is different. This method means if you want to password protect a file from inside a file, it means you are writing some code inside a file and from there you want to encrypt that file, you can do that. Just type escape, then colon, and here type capital X. Okay, just type capital X, you can see that capital X, and then press enter. So it will ask you enter encryption key. Here you can type any key. Suppose 12345 12345 and that's all. This file has been encrypted. Let's WQ save it. clear the screen. ls a.txt has been encrypted again using different method. Okay. But the password can be removed using same method. Okay. Go to this file vim a.txt. Here type 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then if you want to remove the password, just type set key is equal to and keep it blank, and then press escape WQ. That's all. The file password has been removed. Again. Okay. Now there is another method to encrypt this file. There is another method. This is the third method. Okay. So you can encrypt this file using this method also. Like go here and type set key is equal to and type any password. Suppose type Red Hat 1 2 3. Okay. So the password for this file is now Red Hat 1 2 3, and then type WQ. And now if you type cat a.txt, sorry, the password has been not set yet. I have forget to press enter. Okay. So vim a.txt set key is equal to Red Hat 1 2 3, and then press enter. Okay. Don't forget to press enter. If you forget to press enter, the file will be not saved. And then shift and then shift colon WQ to save the file. Now you can check cat a.txt, and you can see the file has been encrypted. At a.txt, the file has been encrypted. It means if you want to see this content, again you have to type the password. What is the password? Red Hat 1 2 3, and now you can see this file. Okay. So these are the methods to encrypt a file for the security reasons using Vim editor. So I hope you guys have understand all these methods to encrypt and decrypt a file and change the password or whatever. Okay, and remove the password.
Satish.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about if you already encrypted your file and then you forgot the password? How can I edit that file now? Because I heard you were saying it, but I was trying to see which way you will do it, but I didn't see you.
See.
Like, okay, go ahead.
See, if you think that you have encrypted this file and you forget the password, then I suggest you to forget the file, because this is cryptography. Okay, and this is symmetric cryptography. It means there are double layer of security. The first one is algorithm, and the second one is password itself. Okay, there is no backup key. There is no key based security that you can create a backup key and you can use that key to decrypt this file. Using Vim encryption, if you forget the password, this file will not be open. Okay.
Okay, so there's no other way to retrieve that password.
Yeah, there are some way. There are some tools on internet which claims that they can break the password using brute force attack. You know, brute force attack. They will try different method, different password. You know, hit and trial method.
Okay.
Like they will try 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. They will try all the combination of digit, numbers, and characters. Okay, but that will take so much time. And suppose my password is Red Hat underscore 1 2 3, then your dictionary will not be able to break it in approx. It will take 1 month for a supercomputer to crack this password. No, you have to create a huge dictionary for that, in which you have the combination of all 1 to 10, 1 to 9, and then A to Z characters, a small characters, and then A to Z capital characters, and then all the special characters. You have to make a huge dictionary for that. When we will learn a brute force attack, I will show you how to do brute force attack on the systems. So when we will learn brute force attack, I will show you how to create dictionary. Okay, and how, and then you will be able to understand how much time the system will take if there is a strong password. That's why when you create a password, your website or many website like Facebook and Hotmail and Yahoo, they will ask you to assign a strong password to your email ID, because that password will be hard to crack using brute force attack, okay, and
Okay.
hard to guess, okay. So we are learning this one for security reasons. If it could be easily bypassed, then there is no meaning of security, right? Huh? That's why you have to remember the password. Now, suppose so we have finished the Vim editor. Now I am going to edit this file or delete this file. So rm-rf a.txt usa.txt. Now I will show you another method of creating a file and or editing a file, and that is nano editor. Nano editor, okay? So nano, and you can create a file satish.txt. Just write anything hi without typing, and there is no insert mode, okay? Just start typing. And if you want to save, just press Ctrl X, okay? Ctrl X, and then it will ask you, do you want to save this file? Yes or no. If you type Y, then it will save the file and press enter. And if you don't want to save the file, just type no, means N, and press enter. That's all. This file has been saved. You see, this file has been saved, and you can see the content of this file. And if you want to see the size of this file, you can also see the size of file using ls-ls, and the size is 51 bytes. So nano editor is very simple. Okay, I will show you again. Nano and the name of the file. And here, if you want to type anything, you can type anything anywhere. Just use your arrow key. Okay. And when you type and when you want to just save this file, Control X and Y and enter. That's all. The file has been saved. Okay.
And
that's
that
all.
Satish, that nano with the name of a file, that is what creating a file.
Yeah, nano is only used for creating a file or editing a file. It is also a kind of editor like Vim editor, but not as powerful as Vim editor. Okay. So Vim editor is most powerful editor in Linux. Okay. Now,
Satish,
yeah.
can we at the end of each class, can you copy the history in our chat for us, please?
If you want to copy the history, you can take the snapshot of this history command.
We can make a copy from Linux. We can make a copy, right?
No, you can't directly make copy from Linux. You can see when I run history command, I can just type this file into a file. Like suppose I can redirect this to a file a.txt. Okay, but it will take time to let's take the file from this machine and then email you to.
Okay, no problem.
So
I thought it was on easy task.
You can take snapshot.
Yeah.
There is option in snapshot for taking snapshot in your Skype also. Okay.
Okay.
So wherever you feel that we need this snapshot, you just take the snapshot.
Okay.
Okay. Now you can see we have already two files. One file size is 1.5 KB and another file size is 60 byte. Now suppose someone asks you to create a file size of 1 GB or 2 GB. How will you create? How hackers create a file of any size? Hackers can create a PDF file of 2 GB. He can create an ISO file of Windows or Mac OS.
I see your screen.
You can't see my screen?
No.
Patrick, can you see my screen?
Right now, no. I just see Vic, and Alex.
Yeah, that's my screen. Okay, don't worry.
Oh, okay, okay, you mean my okay.
Alex, can you see?
No, I can't.
You can't see anything. What you are seeing?
Vic and Patrick.
Actually, the weekend pattern, I have minimized my screen. That's why you are seeing this.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, okay, okay. So you minimize. Okay,
So this is my screen. Okay.
okay.
You guys are on my screen. Okay. So now we are going to create fake files, like fake file of any size. Like suppose you want to create suppose a new movie, Hollywood movie has been released today. So what people do actually, normally people Google for that movie. So how to download that movie, where to
Sorry,
get that.
I can't see your screen.
You
Can
did
you see now?
minimize. Okay, now yes, now we can
Yeah.
see.
Okay.
Is it okay?
So for that we can do disk dumping. So disk dumping means the short we call it DD, and the full form of DD is disk dumping. So disk dumping means what? Suppose this is a disk, hard disk, okay? And we want to dump the content from this disk to somewhere else, like this file. So dumping data from this hard disk to this machine or this file is known as disk dumping. Okay. So this is the disk, or you can see your hard disk, and this is a file where we are dumping. Okay. So we are dumping data from hard disk to a file. Suppose name of this file is patrick.txt. Okay. Name of this file is patrick.txt, and I want this file size is 2 GB, and this is my hard disk. Okay. So hard disk is considered as input file IF, and the output this file has been created as output file OF. Okay. So IF is hard disk and OF is our file. OF stands for output file, IF stands for input file. It means we are taking data from hard disk and dumping to the patrick.txt. So suppose the name of the disk is dev SDA. I will show you how to check the name of your hard disk. Okay. And now suppose you want to dump data from this machine to this patrick.txt. How can you dump? There is another concept that is known as BS. BS stands for base size. Base size means suppose base size is equal to 1 MB. What does this mean? This means we are dumping 1 MB data at a time. Okay. So now you have to dump 2 GB data. So how many times you have to dump 1 MB data? If you dump 1 MB at a time, so for 2 GB you have to dump approx 2000 times, right? Then 2000 into 1 MB is equal to approx 2000 MB, and that will be make 2 GB data. Let's see the practical. First of all, check your hard disk. So fdisk-l is used to check your disk name. So you can see your disk name is dev SDA and the size is 19.3 GB. If you can see. Now I am going to dump data from this one to patrick.txt using dd command. So dd input file is equal to dev SDA. So input file, the name of the disk, and the output file is patrick.txt. Now what will be the size of our file patrick.txt? 2 GB. So I want to dump 2 GB data. So base size will be 1 MB. It means at a time I want to dump 1 MB and I want to dump it 2000 times for 2 GB. And that's all. Just enter. And within few seconds it will create a 2 GB file for you. And the name of the file will be patrick.txt. You can see what is the size of patrick.txt, guys. Can you see the size?
2 gig.
2 gig.
2 gig. So you can see within few seconds I have created a text file of 2 GB. Okay. And how this file gets the data? This file gets its data from dev SDA, means hard disk. Okay. And now if you want to see the content of this file, you can just type cat patrick.txt and you can see, oh, you can see the data.
Yeah. Yeah. How can you dump 19 gig to 2 gig?
How? Repeat the question.
How? Yeah. How? Because I'm trying. The other one, the hard disk is a 19 gig, and then the out file or the OF is 2 gig.
Yeah.
The other, yeah, the IF is higher than.
See, yes, I understand your topic. See, if I type only this one, then you know what will happen. The system will keep creating file patrick.txt until your hard disk is full. Okay, this machine is completely full. But I have put a limit here using this one, BS. Page size is equal to 1 MB. I told him that I want to dump only 1 MB data at a time. And I want to dump this data 2000 times. So what will happen if you dump 1 MB data for 2000 times? How much data you will have? 2000 multiplied by 1 MB?
That means 2000 megabytes.
Yeah, right. So 2000 megabyte is approx 2 GB.
Oh, yes.
Right?
So is it the same? Is it the same content you put back over and over?
No, you can see.
The content of the file.
No, it's take data randomly. So you can see if I take it 3000, then it will create a 3 GB file. It will override that file. It take data from your hard disk randomly, okay? And you can see now the file size will be 3. The size will be 3 GB.
So that means it didn't take the whole 19 gig. He only took 2000 megabytes.
Right.
Okay, can you run fdisk-l for us to see what size our hard disk has?
Yeah.
Please.
The size of your disk doesn't matter here in this case, okay? Even we can create more than 19 GB file using this method. If but at present there is no space in this operating system, that's why we will not able to create more file. Okay. And see, now I am going to delete this file rm-rf patrick. So patrick.txt. You can also see, I will tell you now. You can see the content inside this file, Patrick, right? Now I will show you without changing the size of this file, patrick.txt. I will delete the whole content of this file. It means there will be no content, but the size will be same. Okay. So what will be the command for that? You just have to type the same command, but instead of dev SDA, we will type dev 0. And this method is known as disk zeroing method. Okay. So what actually this command do? This command will multiply all the data with 0. And you know, anything multiplied with 0 will be 0. So you can see this ls-ls. You can see what is the size of patrick.txt? 3 GB?
Yes.
So the size has been not changed. But when you see now cat patrick.txt, you will see no content. Can you see any content inside this file?
No.
No, the file is empty. Why so? The size is 3 GB, but there is no content. So using this method is known as DF0. DF0 means disk zeroing method. Using this method, hackers can delete any data without changing the size of the file, actual size of the file.
Mm-hmm.
So even disk monitoring software cannot report you that some changes has been made to your system, because disk monitoring software looks for the size of the file, okay? And if there is no change in the size, it will not find any changes. It will say no, there is no changes in this operating system, all files are okay. Got it? We use, so this if you create a file using this method, dev0 method, it means there is a file but the file is empty, okay?
Mm-hmm.
See, if you have a thumbs up bottle, right? You have a thumbs up bottle. So thumbs up bottle can be of two type. One thumbs up bottle is full of thumbs up, 2 liter full thumbs up bottle, and one bottle is 2 liter empty thumbs up bottle, right? So there is a difference. 2 liter full thumbs up bottle is different, and 2 liter empty thumbs up bottle is different thing. If there is a 2 liter empty thumbs up bottle, it means you can keep 2 liter content liquid inside that bottle, right? So this is the difference between dev HDA and dev 0. There is a third concept, and that is known as dev null, and this is also known as disk nulling. So if you type dev null, what will happen? It will make this content as well as the size of that file to 0. You can see what is the size of patrick.txt now?
0.
0. So anything multiplied by dev null is 0. Why so? Dev null is considered as a black hole in operating system, okay? You know black hole?
No.
Yeah.
No, you have heard about Bermuda Triangle?
No.
No, Bermuda Triangle. Actually, black hole is an area where anything goes, it does never return back. Okay. There is a black hole area in our planet also. Once anything or any material, anyone goes inside that, there is no possibility to come out.
Okay.
So dev null is a black hole area. If you send anything inside dev null, that file will never come back. It means suppose you want to delete a file. Suppose you normally delete a file, then the cyber expert or cyber forensic people can recover your data, right? You know this truth, data recovery?
Yeah.
So there are so many data recovery tools in market. So even you delete a file using rm-rf method or any method, they will recover your data back. But if you delete your file using this method, that data will not be recovered back.
Yeah.
Okay? That's why cyber forensic people, banking system admin people, or many important agencies using this method to destroy their data from their hard disk, so that even their hard disk, someone buy or someone purchase their hard disk, second-hand hard disk, no, or someone anyhow get their data hard disk, they will not be able to get the data, or they will not be able to access the data. Actually, we all doing everything to protect the data, not the hard disk. See, this world is now protecting the data, not the disk or your laptop. Your data is now more important than your mobile or laptop, right?
Yes.
You can purchase a new mobile, but once your data has been leaked to somewhere else, you will be in tension, right? If someone, your bank details goes to someone else, suppose your bank password goes to someone else, then it is a big problem for you. If someone know your Gmail ID and password, it will be a big problem for you. No? So the reason of privacy, the data is increasing, the data security is becoming more important. That's why that cyber security is in more demand. Because now all the government, whether it is Indian government, US government, Chinese government, all the government is forcing the companies for a new privacy rule, and that is data privacy rule. Okay, it means how our clients data is safe. So now all the countries is claiming, all the companies like Google, Facebook, they're asking them to not take out the data of their users out of their countries. That's why you have heard about the PUBG. Have you heard about the PUBG game? Indian government, yeah, PUBG game. You know, Indian government was about to ban that game, but the PUBG has made changes in their privacy rule, and they have created the local server in India. Okay, they have to create the server in India so that the data from Indian users have not been sent outside. Similarly, each and every country is enforcing these companies for the data privacy rule. Okay, and if the company want to survive their business, they have to create the server in their countries, and they have to apply the data privacy rule. They have to apply the cryptography hardly, more strict way. So now every company is focusing on privacy, data privacy. Okay, so data privacy become more important nowadays. So now I am running history command again. Now you can see I have used three methods: line number 102, line number 111, line number 114. These three commands are different from each other. The 102 is creating a fake file of any size. Line number 111 is creating a fake file of any size, but the file will be empty. Okay, you can create a fake file any size without changing the size of the file. You can create a 2 GB file, but there will be no content inside that file. Line number 114 is used to delete the content of a file. It means completely nullify the file. Okay, dev null. So dev null will make the file size 0 and file content 0. Dev 0 will make the file size as it is, but the file content will be 0, because the file content will be multiplied with 0, and by multiplying with 0 it become 0. And line number 102, you can see using this method you can create any file size. You can create a file size of any. Suppose I want to create.
I have a question, please. Line 102. Yeah, I understood the DD if equals /dev SDA and of equal Patrick that test, but the BS equal 1 megabyte
MB.
Count equal 3000. That part I didn't get it. Can you explain, please?
Yes, I will explain it again. See, base size 1 MB means, see, this data has been, what you are actually doing? What we are actually doing? We are taking data from this hard disk to this file.
Yes.
So when you take data from this hard disk, how much data we are taking at a time? We are taking only 1 MB data at a time, okay?
Okay.
Then 1 MB again. Then 1 MB again. And how many times we are taking this data? 2000 times or 3000. Okay?
Yeah.
Are you getting me?
Yes.
Any more question?
Because the OF is 2 gig, that's why we are okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's why we are taking 2000. Suppose we want only 300 KB file. So what we will do? We will make it count is equal to 300 and here base size is equal to 1K. Okay. And now you can see the size of Patrick is 300 KB. Can you see?
Yeah.
The size of patrick.txt is 300 KB because here I made it base size is equal to 1K and count is equal to 300 only. If you want to make it 640, suppose 640 kilobyte, okay, 340 kilobyte, suppose. So I will create another file here, suppose .txt. Okay, so you can see the size of satish.txt will be 340 kilobyte. You can create a file size of anything, okay, whatever you want. Suppose you want a file size of some 400 or 450 MB. So you can just type 450 here and make base size is equal to 1 MB. You just have to use simple mathematics. And now you can
But
see
that file doesn't, because the file is now 3 gigs, doesn't mean it's occupying actually 3 gigs on the hard drive, right?
right. No, it's occupying. If you are creating a file using dev HDA method or dev 0 method, it is occupying the space on your hard disk. You can see that.
Okay.
See df-h. When I say df-h, you can see what is the user space now.
16. No, the use space is 2.4 or 4 gig.
Right. Now I am going to delete that file satish.txt, rm-rf satish.txt. What is the space now?
Available or used?
Use the space.
2.
2 GB. And before it was 2.4 GB, right?
Yes.
So this is why 400 MB is that file. You can see satish.txt has been deleted. That's why it's approx 400 MB file has been space has been created, right?
Yeah.
See, if I create a file size of 2 GB, suppose I am creating a 4 GB file.
Here. So that's the size you want for the file. The size they want for the one you are trying to assign for the file is 4,000.
Yeah. So okay. It will be 4 GB file. Now see, the file size will be 4 GB. You can see the file size is 4 GB, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now if you check df-h your hard disk space, how many user space is what is how much? How much? 5.9 GB. So and what if I delete that satish.txt file, that 4 GB file? Now you can see the user space. What is the user space now?
2
GB. Because satish.txt's 4 GB file has been deleted, then the 4 GB space has been created again, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess the limitation of this is based on your hard drive. You cannot create a file that is bigger than your hard drive.
Right.
And actually, also maybe I missed it at the first. You said, okay, go ahead. You're about to say something. Sorry about
that. Actually, hackers create this kind of files in your system. Once they enter your system, they create this file, this kind of file inside your system, anywhere inside your system, and they will completely fool your system so that you can't even download any data, you can't do anything, and then you have to format your system. What normally people do when your system is completely full? Either you delete the content of the file, and if you don't know where that file is, what will you do? You have to format your system. The only way is you have to format your system. And that's what they want. And once you format your system, the log file will be deleted. So there will be no log file that who has been come to your system, who has logged into your system.
Oh, okay. It's like they're kind of clearing all the traces,
right? Right.
Everything they left behind. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you can ask if you have any question.
No, I was about to ask what is the purpose of the disk dumping, because I wasn't seeing. But now the question you just said, I understand. But go ahead. make it more clear for us.
Disk dumping is used for both purposes. For legal use means for benefits of the company, and at the same time it is used for destroying something. Okay. See, you can use dev SDA or dev null and dev zero to delete your data for your privacy. Suppose you don't want anyone to recover your data, right? Suppose suppose you are say selling your hard disk or your laptop, your old laptop to someone else, and you think that you have formatted your hard disk and now your hard disk is safe, and you sold your hard disk, you sell your laptop, right? Old laptop. But the users or no, the guy who have purchased your laptops can use a data recovery software and get your all your data. He can recover all your data from your hard disk, and he can misuse your data. That's why you use dev null and dev zero to completely destroy our data first. You can also completely destroy your hard disk. Suppose you can insert your hard disk, and if you run this command like dev SDA, and in output you can type your hard disk, another hard disk, suppose your another external hard disk, and its name is dev HDB. And if you run this command, okay, dev null and this, what will happen? This will completely nullify your hard disk, okay, second hard disk. Okay, and in this way,
which hard disk? The SDB?
yeah, HDB is your second hard disk. Suppose you have some external hard disk, right?
Okay.
You put some, you insert some external hard disk, and the name of that hard disk will be dev HDB, dev HD, or dev HDC. Okay, you can check it using fdisk-l. At the same time, dev null is also used. Suppose there is a virus in your system and you are not able to delete that file, right? Every time you try to delete that file, your system said no, you can't delete that file is protected or whatever it is. Okay, so even if you are not able to delete that file, you can delete the content of that file using dev null. So the file will be there, but there will be no content inside that file. It means indirectly you have completely nullified that file. It means the file will be there, but that file will not affect your operating system.
But later on,
what? Yeah, go through.
No, go ahead.
Now there is a dev zero. So dev zero, why you use dev zero? Actually, suppose in your system, or if you are a hacker and you log into someone's system and you want to delete some file, important file, but you know that if you delete some file, their disk monitoring tool will capture and they will inform that and in their log file that some file has been changed. Someone has deleted that file. So you can't directly delete that file. So what you have to do? You have to keep the file name same. You have to keep the file size same, and still you can delete the content of that file using dev zero method. And in this way, you can bypass the disk monitoring tool. The disk monitoring tool will not capture your data because it will check for file size, and it will check that, oh, file size is same, 2 GB. It's okay. There is no change. But actually, there has been change in the file because you have deleted the content of that file even without changing the size. So it is used where data is more important and you don't want anyone to recover your data. Suppose you are working as a data recovery engineer or you are working as a system engineer. You need this command every day because company don't want to reveal their data at any cost to anyone. Okay, so you have to use this method. So these are the three important methods. There are more methods, but these are the most important methods which have been in practice for destroying the data, for disk nullifying, and for disk zeroing. you can go through more theory. You just type on Google about disk nulling or disk zeroing, and you will get the point, and you will get the theory about these things. Okay.
Okay.
I have shown you the practical. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So if you don't have any more doubt, we can continue from tomorrow again. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So you guys
So
keep practicing. Okay. If you don't practice, you will forget these things.
Okay.
Okay.
and what are we doing
Because-
tomorrow?
So tomorrow we are going to disk one, hard disk, and we
Okay.
will also learn about how to hack the OS password. Okay. So tomorrow we will learn how to hack the password of your Linux operating system. Suppose you forget your password. Okay. Suppose you forget your password, then how can you get your password back? How to bypass the password or how to hack the password? And at the same time, we will also learn how to secure our operating system so that no other people can hack our system. Okay. So today class will be about hacking the Linux password and securing the Linux password. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, guys. So see you tomorrow.
All right.
I
See you tomorrow.
I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome.